Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome inside King Arena on the campus of Wheaton College in Wheaton, Illinois for tonight's CCIW men's basketball matchup between the number 8 team in the country, the Wheaton Thunder, and the visiting Cardinals of North Central College. We will toss it down here to our PA announcer extraordinaire, Tim Martin, to get us underway with the starting lineups and national anthem, then come back and join us courtside for tonight's game.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wheaton College basketball. Tonight we have your Wheaton College Thunder going up against the North Central College Cardinals. And now would everyone please rise for the playing of the national anthem. And now the starting lineups. First for the visitors from North Central. At guard, a 6'4" junior out of Aurora, number 0, Ethan Hellwig. At guard, a 6'1", a sophomore out of Danvers, that's number 1, John Blumeyer. At guard, a 6'1", a senior out of Normal, number 11, Shay Couples. At guard, a 6'4", senior out of Aurora, number 12, Matthew Hellwig. And at forward, a 6'5", junior out of Northbrook, that's 44, Brian Johnson. North Central is coached by Anthony Figueroa, who's assisted by Vince Kamek and Patrick Doherty. And now, Wheaton College fans, on your feet, the starting lineup for your Wheaton College Thunder. At guard, a 6'3", senior out of Fishers, number 2, Andrew Williams. At guard, a 5'11" grad student out of Thunder Ridge, number 13, Tyson Cruikshank. At guard, a 6'5", senior out of Portage, number 22, Eli Considine. At forward, a 6'7" grad student out of San Diego, number 23, T.J. Askew. And at guard, a 6'4", junior out of Columbus, that's number 24, Nick Chiavello. Wheaton College is coached by Mike Schauer, who's assisted by J.P. John Panner and Mr. Zach Kwan.
Welcome back to King Arena, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Gabriel Woodwis. I'll be your play-by-play commentator for tonight's CCIW men's basketball game, joined by Dalton Van Esselston on color commentary. And Dalton, before we get into the nuts and bolts of tonight's game, let's go over some scenarios. Wheaton cannot clinch the conference, cannot win first place in the CCIW regular season standings tonight, even if North Park falls on the road to Carthage. We'll be keeping an eye on that game. Should be a great one up in Kenosha. But they can clinch a first-round bye. If the Thunder win here tonight against North Central, they will guaranteed to finish top 2 in the conference, earn that first-round bye in the conference tournament. They'll also make it 3 straight seasons winning 12 conference games against CCW opponents, and that is not easy in such a strong league. And as you said before we came on the air, this is a big game for North Central tonight.
Yeah, North Central is 6-7 in the conference right now, 1 game ahead of Augustana in that 6th seed for conference, just barely in as of now. So this is a big game for North Central. And if the Cardinals want to make the tournament, they gotta win tonight or find a way to win the next 2.
First matchup between these two teams came 4 weeks ago in Naperville, Wheaton edging the Cardinals by 5 points. These games are usually competitive between these local neighbors. Should be in for another good one here in King Arena tonight. as the Thunder win the tip and start spreading it around the perimeter on their first possession. TJ Askew will pull up for a long three, doesn't get that one to drop. Rebound here for the Cardinals. This is number 11, Shea Couples, bringing it up the court. Quick three in transition there from Ethan Hellwig, no good. Andrew Williams with the rebound.
Andrew's getting his 4th start of the season tonight. He's been playing really well as of late, and we show it right here as he's driving in and able to dish it out to Considine. But just having a great all-around season as a senior, about to graduate, and he earns a starting job tonight.
Has definitely been a key player for the Thunder, especially during this middle stretch of the season. A lot of difficult games on Wheaton's schedule. Here's Considine wide open for three at the top of the key, and the senior splashes it home. Thunder on the board first.
Considine shooting 35% from three, but top of the key wide open. He's going to make that every single time.
Here's Matt Hellwig, long three for North Central, doesn't get that one to fall. Hellwig coming in as the top scorer in the CCIW tonight. Basketball is a team sport, but Hellwig versus Crookshank should be a very interesting one-on-one matchup as Tyson has the ball now. Askew going to work down low, spins away from his defender, kicks it out to Considine, fakes the extra pass, Eli pulls up, no good. Rebound North Central.
And Nick Chavello has a tough task tonight guarding Matt Hellwig, especially with Ethan Hellwig too. It'll be an interesting matchup, seeing both those brothers who are just such talented scorers.
Definitely a talented duo for the Cardinals. This is Couples turning in the lane, can't get the layup to fall, gets his own rebound. Muscling up against Andrew Williams down low. Risky pass there, Considine nearly takes it away. Brian Johnson stop and pop, gets it in, and North Central's on the board.
Wheaton gave up a couple offensive rebounds there, not the greatest defensive stand, forcing them into some tough shots, but got to secure the rebound, not give North Central extra looks, or else it's going to be a long night.
North Central not off to a flying start in terms of their shooting, but they do come in as one of the best shooting teams in the CCIW. 2nd overall in team field goal percentage, leading the conference in 3-point percentage and free throw percentage. Definitely something to keep an eye on tonight as Chavello draws the foul.
You're going to call it on Matt Hellwig as he kind of had his right arm on the body of Chavello as he was going up, trying to finish with his left hand on the right side. It's a tough adjustment, tough angle to get it to go. And now he gets 2 shots at the free throw line.
First one bounces home for the junior out of Columbus, Indiana.
He's really come into his own this year. I think last year he gained a lot of confidence towards the end of the season, and this year just starting every single game and just being really excellent all around on the defensive side and creating a lot of offense this year. Something that he wasn't known for a lot last year, more of a defender, but this year he's just been an excellent scorer and the 3rd option for the Thunder.
Wheaton with an early 5-2 lead here. Offensive foul now.
Illegal screen on Blumeyer, I believe. Just kind of, you see on the replay here. Yeah, just kind of running and never really set his feet for the screen.
Andrew Williams drawing the contact there, forcing the turnover for North Central. See if Wheaton can extend this to a 2-possession advantage here. Here's Williams, double covered down low. Nice bounce pass to Considine. Can't get the easy layup to fall. North Central with a chance to come back the other way.
Considine did a great job getting back on defense there, though. Able to hustle down and stop the ball.
Nice feed down low there, but John Blumeyer with an easy layup doesn't get it to fall. Surprising miss there from that kind of range. Wheaton will gladly scoop up the defensive rebound. Crookshank was calling for it underneath the hoop. Instead, Considine goes out to Askew, and the big man drains it from deep.
Askew showing he's not shy to shoot it tonight. Uncharacteristic 2 early threes taken by Askew, makes one and misses the other.
Here's Couples going to work at the top of the key, pulls up for a long 2, and that was a pretty stroke to get North Central's 2nd basket. (8-4) lead here for the number 8 team in the country. 4 minutes into this one. Nice interior pass there from Crookshank. Haven't seen his first shot attempt yet so far tonight. And a travel call there against Considine underneath the hoop.
And I think he slid his pivot foot just a little bit as he was trying to get to the other side of the hoop, trying to get his position there. And yeah, you can see his right pivot foot move a little more. Easy call for the ref to make under the hoop.
And not the easiest position for him to try to work his way out from. Double covered underneath the basket like that. Nate Sock checking into the game for the first time for the Thunder here. Played a nice role in the Wheaton senior night win over Millikan on Saturday night. Got some good minutes. Here is John Blumeyer, blocked. Crookshank nearly came away with the steal, but North Central keeps it and can't turn it into points as Hellwig misses the layup.
A couple easy misses from the Cardinals early. Looks like they're trying to get into the flow of the game as Tyson's pulling up from deep, bottoms it.
One shot, one conversion for Tyson Crookshank. Just became the third Wheaton men's basketball player to earn 3 D3Hoops.com Team of the Week selections in the same season. He is on a historic run of form right now. Quiet start to this one for Wheaton's leading scorer, but that was a nice shot.
Yeah, and all those nominations and awards are so well deserved because he is one heck of a player, and proving it this year and why he should, at the end of the year, hopefully be an All-American.
Andrew Williams with some nice handles, but he's called for the travel. He was hoping for an and-one situation. Looks like he did take an extra step, and it'll be another turnover for the Thunder.
And this is a lineup we don't really see much of, with Snyders, Sock, Chiavello, Askew, and Crookshank all on the court. Sock, who usually only gets a few minutes a game, has been playing a ton over the past couple games. And they've all been really good minutes, too, as you made mention of a couple minutes ago.
Another versatile player, fulfills a similar role to that of Chiavello, good on both ends of the floor. Good to see him get some minutes tonight, as Dalton pointed out. North Central will see if they can break their scoring duct here and get on the board again. That's a turnaround in the lane from Brian Johnson going over Sock, but it rims out and Crookshank brings down the rebound. Tyson thought about pulling up, instead dishes out to Chiavello. Here's Askew arriving in. And it will be a foul on North Central's big man, number 42, Mitch Lewis, who's definitely a player to watch tonight. One of the leading players so far this season for the Cardinals.
Yeah, he provides a lot of scoring off the bench. In the last game that the Thunder played against the Cardinals, Mitch Lewis, I believe, had 20 points off the bench on 8 of 11 shooting. So he is a heck of a scorer off the bench for the Cardinals.
It does lead North Central in field goal percentage, shooting at almost 54% from the floor this year, as Askew drains his first free throw. Askew goes 2 for 2. Thunder off to a good start from the free throw line tonight, as Considine checks back in. 9-point lead for Wheaton.
This is a good start for the Thunder right now, especially on the defensive side. A few, uncharacteristic miscues from the Cardinals on the offensive side, with a few missed layups, point blank. But the Thunder are playing some good defense, forcing them into some tough shots and fadeaways. Considine is able to. Wow, that's a great finish by Lewis. I was going to say,
tough shot, but Mitch Lewis, when you're big and talented, you can find a way to make it work. That was a nice little teardrop turnaround right there.
Yeah, with the offhand too, it was really impressive.
And North Central haven't done a lot wrong so far, just haven't converted on a couple of those easy looks, as Dalton pointed out. Wheaton trying to extend the lead here, up by 7. Considine looks like some contact from behind, but no call, and it will be a travel. His second of the night, another Wheaton turnover. He got tripped up a little bit here at the top of the key, a little slap from behind by one of the North Central players.
They're going for a back tap, it just kind of got him a little bit off balance, and then just Considine slid a little bit more than he wanted to there.
Talked about the matchup between Matt Hellwig and Tyson Crookshank. Only 3 points between the two of them so far. Matt Hellwig yet to score his first basket of the night. As we see a foul there on Micah Schneiders as he was tracking back into a defensive position.
The Couples did a good job of faking like he was going to pop out and then curl around Lewis with the ball, and then be able to draw the foul on Schneiders, who was just holding on to him, as we get Eddie Scott and TJ Askew to check in for Nate Sock and Nick Chiavello.
Eddie Scott's first appearance of the night, one of those seniors who was recognized in the win over Millikan, another really valuable contributor. Kind of fluctuates between a starter and a bench player. We'll see him in both roles throughout the season, but there's an and-one call for the Cardinals. Mitch Lewis once again going to work down low. Big basket for North Central.
Yeah, that's a tough matchup right there. Lewis just has a lot more weight on him. Considine is strong, and they are relatively the same height, but when you just have a lower center of gravity, you can back down really any defender.
Interestingly, both those guys are listed at 6'5". From here, it looks like Mitch Lewis is the taller player.
Yeah.
But yeah, Considine, one of the best defensive players in the CCIW, but there's only so much you can do in a situation like that. Really skilled play right there from Lewis as he tries to convert the old-fashioned three-point play, and he does. North Central on a little mini run here to get this back down to a 4-point game. Wheaton in need of some points perhaps on this offensive possession. Here's Crookshank, matched up against Matt Hellwig. Crookshank, the no-look dish down to Considine. Back to Eddie Scott, swings it to Askew. Drives in the lane, that's a tough layup, and he draws the foul on Lewis. That'll be his second.
Yeah, Askew is just so long, so wherever he is, he's able to extend his arm and get some angle at the hoop. We see him be able to go under with his right arm there, and when you go up and under with that arm, you're going to draw a foul as someone's going to try to come down and block that.
Askew's second trip to the free throw line, gets the first one to go.
Askew now 4-4 of the line. 6-point lead for the Thunder. Just under 12 minutes left, under 13 minutes left to go in this first half.
Free throw shooting, one of the few areas in which there's room for improvement for this Wheaton team. They've had an excellent season, but we've seen them, especially it seems like during home games, interestingly enough, miss a number of clutch free throws in situations. So Coach Schauer has to be pleased with how his team has started from the charity stripe so far. And we'll get an offensive foul on Mitch Lewis going over the back. That's his third, and he might have to sit for a few minutes.
Yeah, that is not a foul you want to pick up. Great box out by Askew, and then you see him trying to rip his way through to get that rebound. Pretty easy call for the refs tonight.
You're coming in as the underdog, as North Central is in a tough environment, trying to pick up a big road win. It's not made any easier when your important big man picks up early foul trouble, so Coach Figueroa won't be too thrilled about that. We'll see what kind of adjustments North Central can make. Here's Andrew Williams going inside against Hellwig. Just about 8 minutes into this CCIW clash. Time running down the shot clock. Williams gets it up at the horn. Can't drop it in. That was nearly the perfect possession for the Thunder.
Yeah, good defense by the Cardinals to force him into a late shot in the shot clock, and Andrew Williams unable to get it to go. And you see Hellwig miss another point-blank layup. That's
textbook Hellwig play. Did everything right, just couldn't apply the finishing touch as Considine misses the quick transition three. Both teams will be frustrated with their shooting performance so far tonight, especially the Cardinals, as we've seen them fail to convert on a few seemingly easy looks in and around the hoop.
It'll be a very different game if those were going in right now. But it's still early, so both teams are kind of getting used to the pace of this game right now and trying to figure out where they can attack best.
It's a turnaround right there from Ethan Hellwig, and he drops it in. Another pretty shot there for the Cardinals.
Yeah, both Matt and Ethan really love to work in the post and try to get that fadeaway around the paint where they can create some more space, and they're just really talented and have a lot of soft touch around the hoop. We're seeing a zone now, I think.
Crookshank. It's rare that you can give him that much space on the perimeter and he doesn't punish you. North Central will gladly take that defensive rebound. Just 2 shots so far for Wheaton's leading scorer, both from beyond the perimeter. He's 1 of 2 from the field. That was Nick Smolt pulling up for the jumper. Couldn't get it to fall. Wheaton looking to push the pace. Considine thought about another 3. He's already chucked up 3 or 4 tonight. Askew, nice pass inside to Tyson. Fails to corral it initially, does well to maintain possession. Here's Tyson for another 3. Doesn't get this one to drop. Rebound to Ethan Hellwig. Big possession right here. If North Central can find some points, they will firmly have the momentum so far here as we hit the halfway point of the first half.
Cardinals are working only around the perimeter right now. Nothing really inside.
That's a nice shot fake right there from Ethan Hellwig. Pulls up, can't drop in the 3 as the shot clock is winding down. Askew catches a break as he was sent flying off the floor. Here's the big man, and we'll have a foul on the floor against North Central.
One more foul from the Cardinals will send Wheaton into the bonus. They have 16 fouls early on in this first half, 3 of which are Mitch Lewis. And for the Cardinals, with your second leading scorer of the team in foul trouble early, 3 fouls, probably not going to play for any more of this first half and most of the second half until they really do need him to come back in. So where's that next scorer going to come from? Was it going to be Ethan Hellwig stepping up, or is it going to be Shea Couples, who's the 4th leading scorer? It's the question that one of the players will have to answer.
And Cruikshank maybe actually made the wrong decision there. He did really well to split 2 defenders on the dribble, but then tried to kick it back outside instead of attacking the hoop where there seemed to be some space. North Central catches a break right there, forces the turnover. Only 2 whistles against the Thunder so far. Pretty clean game from the home side. Next foul for North Central will put the Thunder in the 1-and-1 bonus. That's another pull-up jumper right there from John Blumeyer. And it's a 2-point lead.
Yeah, the Cardinals are working really well around ball screens right now. They're using a lot of screens to create some space and a little hesitation too coming off of the screen. So Thunders need to do a little bit of a better job hedging those screens and forcing them to keep it out in the perimeter, not drive in so much.
Here's Andrew Williams with the open look. Doesn't get that one to drop. Blumeyer with the rebound. Wheaton entering a bit of a cold patch shooting-wise. Blumeyer with another turnaround jumper. Doesn't fall, and we see the tempo of this one ratcheting up a few notches. And Cruikshank will be whistled for the charge there. Another turnover for the Thunder.
That's their 5th turnover of the night. It's a story of the Thunder this season is they average 11 turnovers a game. So if they can keep their turnovers usually under 10, then that will add up to a win. But the Thunders need to take care of the ball and really be cautious and make strong passes, make the right decisions with jump stops and all that. And it should be an easy road for the Thunder win. They just need to be really careful with each possession.
And it can be frustrating to see consecutive trips down the floor end in turnovers against such a talented team who's usually known for their offensive efficiency. We've seen some easy misses so far from North Central. Here's Matt Hellwig with the turnaround, and he cannot buy a basket so far tonight. The conference's leading scorer, ice cold from the field. Here's Cruikshank matched up against Nick Smolt. Here's Nate Sock with the long jumper, gets it to go. That's a big basket right there for the Thunder as Nate Sock splashes in the 3.
And Nate Sock has just got all this confidence now, and he's not afraid to pull it up on a contested 3 and buries it.
Shots weren't falling for anyone else. He may as well give it a try. Here's Hellwig matched up against Chavello. Back to the basket, but still makes a great pass. A nice initial fake from Smolt, but blocked by Sock. And then that is Erikas Gerskus dropping in the follow-up basket underneath the hoop. North Central did well to come away with something on that possession. And we will have our first timeout of the ball game. Wheaton with an 18-15 lead, 7:35 remaining in the first half. Dalton, your major takeaway so far from this one?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a slower paced game right now. It doesn't seem like much is going on, but it's still a close game. I mean, 3 points separating the 2, and Wheaton just with 5 turnovers, and North Central with 6 fouls. It's just kind of a little bit sloppy on both sides for teams right now. If they can settle in, start to run their plays, and try to get downhill, especially for the Thunder. If they can get downhill and get the ball towards the hoop, that's where they're going to be at their best, and then kick out to open threes. The Thunder take a bunch of threes. That's usually where they win games. They've taken 530 threes on the year compared to their opponents' 324 total out of all their opponents that they've played. So they live and die by it. Yeah, just a small disparity. So, and we've seen that tonight with them already taking 10 threes on 12 shot attempts. So if they can get downhill, they can get better looks at the hoop and then be able to kick those out to open shooters as well. We see a soft press here by the Cardinals, but nothing really too difficult for the Thunder to break.
As you hinted, both teams will know that there's plenty of room for improvement. This game feels very much up for grabs right now. Only a 3-point lead. Askew trying to make it 6. Can't get it to go. That's a tough rebound right there from Gerskus.
Yeah, Wheaton's just settling right now. They're not really working the ball around it too much. They're trying to do a lot off the dribble and pull up from deep. So if they can just pass the ball around, look at the cutters, and use some off-ball screens, that'll just help them out a ton.
This is Brian Johnson going to work down low. Doesn't drop the layup in. Nate Sock eventually with the rebound. Both teams coming up empty out of the timeout. Wheaton looking to push the pace initially before Cruikshank elects to hold the ball up, and Chevello stepped out of bounds. It'll be another turnover for the Thunder.
So Cruikshank kind of got stuck there, and yeah, you can see his left toe just be on the sideline.
Referee was in the perfect position to make that one. Turnover again for the Thunder. We've talked about their struggles so far tonight in terms of hanging onto the ball and building these clean, efficient offensive possessions. Here's Couples bringing it up, hands it off to Matt Hellwig. Tough pass over into the corner. North Central with a chance to tie on this possession. Shot clock under 10. Nice in pass right there from Matt Hellwig, but Couples can't drop in the layup. It's another miss underneath the hoop for North Central, and Couples will be whistled for the foul.
I mean, if those misses continue, it's going to be a long night for the Cardinals around the hoop. They got to start getting these layups to fall if they want to have a chance to stay in this game.
We've seen a lot of streaky games for the Wheaton men's team this season. It feels like usually they're knocking in all the baskets, or maybe their opponents will go on a run and they'll kind of have to build back off of that. Haven't been many games where both teams have been shooting poorly from the floor, and it just kind of feels like a cold night. We'll see if things heat up a little bit in the final stretch of the first half. Nate Sock now at the line, shooting the bonus free throws for Wheaton, but can't drop in the first. That's the Thunder's first miss from the line. And North Central back with the ball, score still at 18-15.
Yeah, they should be heating up because the weather outside's been getting warmer this week than it was last week, but it seems to be the opposite effect on the Thunder's shooting performance.
Here's North Central working the ball inside. Late pass there. Nick Smolt was halfway into his shot, decided to dish it off. Air ball three, but tough rebound underneath. John Blumeyer can't get the and one, but he will go to the line, drawing a shooting foul.
Yeah, Blumeyer did a good job of coming in and crashing the offensive boards. Snyder's was unable to box him out, and the smaller player got the rebound, and now he earns himself a trip to the line. And the Thunder faithful are not getting too loud right now on in the stands on these free throws from the visiting Cardinals. We'll see if the student section will fill up any more as the game progresses, and if they'll get more into this game and try to distract the shooters as we usually see.
It's a good point. King Arena has filled in a little bit since tip-off, but not the loudest environment that we've seen this season.
No, not at all.
Could partially explain the bit of lethargy we've seen so far from the Thunder, especially not feeding off the crowd's energy in the way that they normally can in those packed house Saturday night games. It's always a little bit trickier in the midweek. Blumeyer's second free throw on the way to try to make it a one-point game, and he drops it in. Cruikshank will check back in for Chevello here for Wheaton.
And the hardest part with Tyson sitting is where's that offense going to come from, because he's such a facilitator with the ball, and he can make a shot when the shot clock's going down. So him being back on the court is huge for the Thunder's offensive game.
Leading the team in points per game, assists per game, and three-point percentage. So that is a big chunk of your offense that's not there, as you said, when he's on the bench.
We're seeing the Cardinals in a 2-3 zone right now.
Here's Considine trapped in the corner. Shot clock winding down, 3 to shoot. Cruikshank will pull up and drops it in. That's a smooth shot from the graduate guard. It's a long 2, so Wheaton, or no, they did rule that a 3. That's my apologies. It is. No, that was a 2. That's
yeah.
I second guessed myself. It was a 2. It sure looked like he was in front of the line.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Now for Wheaton.
Ooh, kick ball.
Stoppage here. Exactly 5 minutes remaining in the first half here in King Arena as Matt Hellwig checks back in for North Central. Cardinals will retain possession underneath the basket. North Park up to a comfortable 33-21 lead in Kenosha right now. Vikings mean business so far on the road. They're trying to make sure that Wheaton does not build a 2-game advantage over them in the conference standings after tonight. Here's Matt Hellwig against TJ Askew. Hellwig steps back and splashes it in. That's what we've come to expect from the conference's top scorer.
Yeah, so he doesn't make the wide open layups. He instead makes the fadeaway, highly contested 2-point jumper, long 2.
Doing it the hard way. North Central bench making some noise as the Cardinals get some momentum here. 1-point lead for the Thunder. Another possession going late into the shot clock before that whistle at least. It will be a foul. Looks like it may have been Blumeyer matched up against Crookshank.
Yeah, I think Blumeyer just had his hands on him as Crookshank tried to drive in. Yeah, right there, just kind of left arm on the chest.
Thunder still in the 1-and-1 bonus. 8 fouls now on North Central, just 4 for Wheaton so far. Tyson Crookshank at the line. He's shooting about 73-74% from the free throw line this year. Good, not great.
Yeah, for a guy that goes to the line a ton, you would hope to see that be a little higher, but also because of the volume, it could be around there as well. But he's such a good shooter, but when he goes to the line, it's just kind of, you know, tale of two different sides.
Yeah, it's perhaps surprising to see a different Wheaton name listed at the top of the free throw shooting percentage list, given how good of a shooter Tyson is. He does well to make both pair. Back to a 3-point lead. That was a turnaround layup right there from Matt Helwig, and as you said, Dalton, it's the outside game that's finding any success right now for North Central's leading scorer. Here's Considine with the corner 3. Can't get that one to drop. Rebound North Central.
It's about halfway down and then decided to shoot back out of the hoop.
Here's Nick Smolt going to work against Andrew Williams. Back out to Gerskus at the top of the key. Looking for some help in and around the paint. Back to Smolt here. Tough layup off the glass. Williams come down with the rebound.
Yeah, good job by Williams not falling for that pump fake and not jumping in the air and having a foul drawn on him, but instead standing his ground and forcing the fadeaway.
See what the Thunder can conjure up on this possession. Crookshank driving past Smolt and drops in the layup. Nice explosive speed right there from Wheaton's point guard.
Yeah, he's so quick off the dribble. He has a much faster first step than most players in the CCIW, so if he gets you on his hip, he'll just continue to blow by and get to the other side of the hoop.
5-point lead for the Thunder as we enter the final 3 minutes of the first half. It was Andrew Williams with a contact foul on top.
Yeah, a little bit of an unnecessary foul, trying to get a little greedy coming around and poking it free.
Yeah. Caught him on the arm and maybe a little bit on the chin too. Easy call for the referee there. It's the Thunder's 5th foul of the first half as Helwig will inbound in front of the Wheaton bench. There's Brian Johnson getting plenty of minutes in this first half due to the foul trouble for Mitch Lewis. And you have to say, North Central have managed it pretty well with Lewis on the bench for so long.
They have.
Here's Helwig in the lane, still can't get it to fall. Foul on the floor.
Tyson saying that
bemused. Looks like he'll be called for the foul.
Yeah, he was saying that he was the one getting held by Couples, but they'll call a foul on Tyson. That'll be his second.
Yeah, he's not pleased with that call. Not many examples of both teams asking for the foul, but it does go North Central's way. And one more will put the Cardinals in the bonus. Here's Matt Helwig, quick release 3, just rims out. Eddie Scott brings it down.
And with 2 points on the night, he's 1 of 8 now from the field. He is really struggling to find his shot early.
There's Considine coming around off the feed from Andrew Williams. Chavello trying to back down on Matt Helwig. That's a good defense right there. Shot clock winding down. Chavello will have to pull up for an uncomfortable 3, and it bounces off the front iron.
And the ball did not get, I think, inside the three-point arc that entire possession for the Thunder. So good defense by the Cardinals, bad offense by the Thunder, and Matt Helwig, after a miss, making them pay with an easy elbow jumper for him.
Yeah, slapping his hands together. You can tell that one felt good for him to finally see one of those jumpers fall. We'll see if Helwig catches fire here as the first half winds down. 3-point lead for the Thunder. Andrew Williams open 3. Helwig lost him on the defensive end, and Andrew Williams makes North Central pay.
And that's big right there, just for the Thunder to kind of take a little bit of sigh of relief as they have not been able to get much to go.
A big shot for Wheaton. Gives this crowd a little bit something to cheer. 27-21, minute 20 left to go. Long 3. Didn't look like the cleanest effort there from John Blumeyer, but he won't care. That's 3 points for North Central.
Coach Schauer's not happy with that defensive effort from the Thunder. Kind of a miscommunication on who was they're gonna switch or if they're going to try to fight back and get their other man, but wide open look.
Andrew Williams double covered momentarily, Smolt wheels away, and turnaround jumper is no good from Wheaton's number 2, Matt Helwig with the rebound. Into the final minute of the first half here in King Arena. North Central with a chance to tie it. Matt Helwig trying to do so with a long 3, doesn't fall, and Considine gets the contested rebound.
And Wheaton's going to slow it down here and try to work the ball around for a good look, hopefully at the rim. A little on-ball pressure from Smolt.
Clock under 30 seconds here. This will probably be Wheaton's last possession of the first half. Shot clock at 10. Here's Eddie Scott trying to set up the offense. Marked closely by Smolt. Spins to get away from him. Here's Considine. Scott with the buzzer-beating 3-point attempt, but that's an air ball and a shot clock violation there for the Thunder. A couple of back-to-back ugly possessions there for the home side.
Yeah, Wheaton's kind of looks like they're confused on the offensive side right now, not really working for a good shot, doing a lot of just dribbling and standing around. If they can start to move off ball and try to get some back cuts and looks that way, some easy finishes at the rim will definitely get their confidence up and make those threes a lot easier, a lot more open.
Final possession of the first half here. North Central with a chance to tie it as the seconds wind down. Here's Matt Helwig. You'd expect him to be the one to take the shot, and he is with a long rainbow 3. No good, and Wheaton will take a slim 27-24 lead into the locker room. Bit of a strange first half here in King Arena.
Yeah, very strange first half. Not the prettiest for either side, but Wheaton being able to have a 3-point lead going into halftime is huge. I mean, any lead going into half is definitely good, but only 27 points for the Thunder and 24 points for the Cardinals. Both teams averaging over 70 a game. It is a low-scoring affair, not due to excellent defense, but due more to just poor shooting all around. So hopefully the Thunder can clean it up, get some shots to fall, and then pull away in the second half.
We will see how the second half unfolds in this CCIW men's basketball matchup. We're back in approximately 12 minutes here in King Arena. Please join us for the second half.
I think one of the fun things about deciding where to go to college is that all of your peers are in kind of the same place. Remember, other people have done this, other people have gone before me and will come after me and are going through it with me now. It's not as isolating as it may feel. I didn't really know what I was looking for at first. It started with me just scrolling through website after website of colleges. I knew I wanted something that was medium-sized. I knew that I wanted a strong natural sciences department. I knew that I wanted to be challenged academically inside the classroom, but I also didn't want life to stop in the classroom. I'm grateful that I was able to visit as many schools as I did. A large part of my decision to attend Wheaton was influenced by my campus visit. What instantly stood out to me was that everyone on campus was smiling. I felt welcomed, I felt appreciated, seen, and wanted. And so the application process itself was really joy-filled. The decision process was quite a different story. I got the decisions and acceptances and rejections back, and rejections stung. I became very stressed. I started to question, do I want to keep going to school? Do I want to go far? Do I want to come closer to home? And that's where I really started to ask, okay, what are the options remaining before me? And Wheaton was again at the top. I started to work with Ellen, my admissions counselor. I just worked with her really closely and had several hour-long phone calls, just talking through what does a Wheaton education look like, what is the value of a Wheaton education, and got to have personal conversations and interactions. So even during a time that was really stressful, I felt valued and seen as a whole person rather than just a GPA and test scores.
Neuroscience is the study of probably the most unique organ on the planet, the human brain. What does it mean to be a human person? And then what does it mean to live the good life as a result of understanding that? Where a vast majority of the work is right now is helping cure neurodegenerative disease. Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease, and our National Institute of Health has been pouring money into trying to understand these diseases. There is a lot of hope for discovery that can really impact somebody's life. It's very easy for an undergraduate student to get involved in research. One of my more recent grads is working with one of the top spinal surgeons in the country, and because of his experience doing research here, he was able to just work his way right into that lab. A majority of my students go on to med school, but I had a physics student who is working for Tesla. We've had philosophy students, and we've had folks from the Bible and theology department come in and really press us hard to be precise about how we're talking about what it means to be a human person. A student in our conservatory here took one of my classes and did a project on the neuroscience of music therapy, and this whole world was opened up. She had a passion for both music and science, and she was able to combine them in a way that she just hadn't seen possible before being here. Any student that is just curious about themselves and the way that they work is going to be really well positioned to study the brain. Faith and science can coexist really well. The unique thing about coming to Wheaton to study neuroscience is the integrative nature of it. You are going to learn about how your brain works and how the cells work and how the neural circuits work, but we won't stop there. We will also teach you about your spirit and your soul and how that might interact with your brain to make you who you are. And so I hope that we're putting students out into the world that can answer the big neuroscientific questions, but then can also challenge their colleagues and their audiences to think deeper and to think more carefully about what it means to be a human person.
When you're looking at colleges, you may look at the sticker price and say to yourself, I'm not applying to that school because I can't afford it. And I would caution you to not close any doors because there is this price tag that is just out of reach. Cost is an important factor, but there's so many other factors to consider. At Wheaton College, we offer academic scholarships as well as Wheaton Grant, which is need-based aid from the college. So a student may receive scholarships in the range of $10,000 to full tuition. They may also receive significant Wheaton Grant based on need, and we determine that, like most institutions do, based on the information that is found on the free application for federal student aid. Colleges aren't commodities. They're not all the same. And there'll be value questions that you have to ask along the way. There's value in knowing that Wheaton alumni have done very well across the board. That we have students from 50 states and over 160-year history. There's value in that. But I also think there's value in the fact that you will be with a group of peers who are excellent in their academic endeavors, but also who love Jesus Christ. You are not just a student who is performing well in the classroom, but that you are a person that has great potential to serve God's kingdom. You're going to be challenged to grow in your faith because you want to be tested and you want to understand what your theological non-negotiables are. So think about the community you're going to be a part of and how they're going to engage you. We want to challenge you to think about why you believe what you believe by people who will encourage you and motivate you. This is an investment that has strong return, not just for you in terms of career, but for you as a follower of Jesus Christ who will be called to great things. Let us work closely with your family. Let us find out more. We work with great expectation and with hope. We do not want to give up on your calling to be at Wheaton College.
Wheaton College Summer Institute is basically this 2-week event in which students from all over the world can participate. It does a very good job of integrating education, social life, and spiritual life into a very safe environment.
There's so many course offerings, from Shakespeare to music to visual arts to theology.
Each student picks a class and they really hone in on a specific subject.
And we're kind of getting like a foretaste of the college experience.
So we're sleeping in the dorms and we eat in saga. It's the full experience, but only for a 2-week period.
And they give college credit. Like, when looking at whether or not to do this, I was like, there's no downside.
You know, the schedule is incredible.
I've spent a lot of time in class, probably about 4 hours a day, but also a lot of time hanging out.
Then we're going for ice cream and we're going into Wheaton.
You enjoy it, you have fun, you get to meet new people.
And what I like about it a lot is that the people are so accepting. The people will just take you as you are and won't criticize you or judge you.
The relationships I've built with people here have been really valuable.
Here, I'm always with someone, I'm always talking, I'm always having a great time, I'm always learning.
And at the same time, building that community with these people who are so different, with people from Colombia and Mexico and Texas and North Carolina. But we can all, find that kind of center of what we all believe and build relationships from that.
Wheaton College Summer Institute is a place where you will grow in your faith, meet very extraordinary people, and learn something you're passionate about.
It has the potential to be so formative that there's no way you shouldn't do it.
Someone who is insatiably curious will thrive in a Christian liberal arts environment. Being a Christian liberal arts student causes you to expect to encounter God and expect to encounter dialogue with other disciplines. I think it creates a posture of wonder, and that's just a great thing for every aspect of life. I was in Calc 1, and my professor was having us read through Romans 12 in Calc 1. And it really invited me to see God at work and to prepare my heart, even in those first few minutes of class, to recognize and say, God is here, and do I have eyes to see him? And do I have eyes to see the way that he's at work? They don't say that any discipline is off limits from God, or that God is off limits from any discipline. Wheaton really does prime you to be a very well-rounded student that's able to think about questions from many different angles, and not just provide a cookie-cutter answer, but really engage with content in a deep and meaningful and intentional way. I got one-on-one time with professors, and they not only cared about my studies, but they also cared about my spiritual well-being and about how I was doing personally. The opportunity to have professors that are spiritual mentors and have PhDs in Old Testament or quantum mechanics or poverty and international relations is amazing. And you get the opportunity to interact with so many other students of different disciplines that all love Jesus and want to love and worship him in what they do. And that's amazing too. And I love Wheaton. Wheaton invited me to dig deep into both the scientific learning I was doing and dig deep into my faith. I have grown in my ability to offer all of myself to the practice that I'm doing as an act of worship. That's what the Christian liberal arts can help form in you, is to do everything to the glory of God.
All right, folks, welcome back inside King Arena here on the campus of Wheaton College as we are getting ready for the second half of tonight's CCIW men's basketball game with the North Central Cardinals coming over from Naperville and the number 8 team in the country, the Wheaton College Thunder. Interesting first half, Dalton. Not the first half that I think most of us watching would have expected. Wheaton with a slim 27-24 advantage, but neither team playing particularly well. Would have loved to be a fly on the wall at the halftime locker room discussion of Coach Schauer with his team. We'll see what kind of adjustments Wheaton makes in the second half. We should be in for a good second 20 minutes.
Yeah, Wheaton just needs to come out a lot more aggressive this half and try to force the issue of getting into the paint and getting towards the hoop instead of settling for some outside jumpers that are easy to come by at any point in the game. The harder part is to get downhill and get to the hoop whenever you can, so they can take advantage of that and force North Central to foul more, as they got into a little bit of foul trouble in the first half, having 18 fouls. Wheaton having 6, so not in the bonus for the Cardinals. But if Wheaton can just force the issue of trying to get the ball towards the hoop and able to either kick it out to open shooters then, or try to draw a foul or finish at the rim, if they can get downhill, I think that would lead to a lot more easy baskets and a lot more scoring in the second half.
We'll see what kind of offensive adjustments are made as North Central gets set to put the ball inbounds and get the first possession of the second half. I think all the scoring that we expected here tonight transferred up to Kenosha. North Park with a 42-35 lead in a shootout so far over the Firebirds. We'll keep our eye on that one.
The Vikings desperately need a win there if they want to stay in contention for the 1 seed in the CCIW tournament.
Carroll with a surprising 3-point lead over Elmhurst up in Waukesha. We'll keep you updated on the score of that one, as well as North Central misses their first shot attempt of the second half, but they will keep possession following the scramble on their sideline.
Yeah, the ball kind of just landed on Andrew Williams as he was out of bounds, so the scramble turning into another possession for the Cardinals with 20 seconds left on the shot clock.
One storyline of this game is low scoring output so far from the conference's 2 leading scorers. Matt Hellwig with just 4 points to his name, and Tyson Cruikshank with 9 so far. Decent attempts, but it hasn't really felt like 9 so far. Hasn't been his sharpest shooting night. There's a 3 right there. Great fake initially from Ethan Hellwig to sell Eli Considine on the defensive pressure, and a big basket for North Central to tie it up at the start of the second.
And with his brother Matt Hellwig kind of having a tough night so far shooting-wise, Ethan stepping up, and with Mitch Lewis in foul trouble, if Ethan can be the main scorer, that will definitely get the Cardinals back into this game as they are tied up right now in the first minute.
4 straight wins for Wheaton in the series, looking to sweep the Cardinals for the second season running, having already defeated them in Naperville, but North Central is coming to play, and they've got a chance to take the lead on this possession. Good ball movement right there. Ethan Hellwig thought about another 3, but will slow it down.
I think the whole bench thought he was going to shoot that one.
They were ready for the quick release there in transition. Good defensive recovery from the Thunder, but that's a beautiful shot right there. Shane Couples splashing it in.
And we're getting a technical foul called, or a delay of game. I don't know which one it's going to be.
It may have been something that Couples or the bench said after they made that basket. They will count the basket. North Central leads by 2, but we do get a technical against
on Blumeyer.
It will be called against Couples there.
Yeah, Couples.
I think it may have been, he may have been jawing off a little bit after he hit that basket, but I'd be curious to know exactly why the technical was awarded.
Yeah, I don't know if we can have that on the mics here if he said something else to Andrew Williams.
Tyson Cruikshank will take the free throws for the Thunder, and if he makes this second one, it'll be a free way to tie the game back up for Wheaton. Lucking out a little bit with the technical foul call. North Central will be frustrated giving that one away. And
after 2 really good baskets for North Central on the offensive side, this technical really is not the way you want to start off the second half when you're trying to fight your way to growing a lead and having the momentum on your side. So Couples just a little frustrated with that.
Cruikshank does well to take advantage. Game's tied up at 29 points apiece, and the Thunder now with a chance to reclaim the lead on this possession.
I like this, having Tyson not be handling the ball and having him be able to work off the ball, off some off-ball screens.
Interestingly, despite the cold shooting from the floor, as we see a steal there, oh no, they're going to call it for a foul. Considine looked beaten for pace there by John Blumeyer.
It looked like they were both trying to fight for the ball, and on a kind of a poor pass by Tyson, they're kind of off his back foot. Blumeyer was able to sneak his way in there.
And I don't know how much he meant to do it, but it kind of ended up being a tactical foul there from Constein. It would have been an easy layup on North Central at the other end, so he ends up slowing down, but he will sacrifice that foul call. North Central now with possession. Second foul of the night on Constein. We see another step back jumper there from Couples. Wheaton comes down with the rebound. Andrew Williams driving in, gets the and one. Fist pump in front of the Wheaton student section, and the fans are on their feet for the first time in the second half.
Andrew Williams doing his best job right there to sneak by his defender. Couples just a step behind and commits the foul, and Andrew with an easy finish.
Not the best minute of Shea Couples' playing career, getting a technical foul and giving up that one against Andrew Williams.
No, so he'll sit down. I believe that's his second foul of the night.
And Williams drops in the old-fashioned three-point play. Coach Schauer will take a timeout. Wheaton with a 32-29 advantage here, just about 2 minutes into the second half.
And so already I think a more exciting second half than the first half, and we're going to see Coach Schauer try to draw something up on the defensive side, and then have a plan of attack for their next offensive possession. But North Central coming out hot with a couple early baskets in these first 2 minutes, one from three, and then the other one just a nice pull-up jumper. So we're going to see what North Central has coming out this timeout, but pretty solid offense for both teams after poor shooting in the first half.
We're seeing a little bit more smooth execution and efficiency on that end of the floor for both teams as they try to generate some attacking momentum so far in the second half. Two teams combining for 10 points here in the first minute 55 of the second. Wheaton women's game going on right now in Chicago. The Thunder are playing at North Park, trailing by 5 at halftime. Good news for the women's team is they've already booked their ticket to the CCIW tournament, so they could lose tonight, lose their next two, and still be safe. But obviously, you want to try to move up the conference standings as much as possible. It looks like Illinois Wesleyan is likely going to fall at home to Millikan tonight, runaway conference leaders. So the Wheaton Thunder could be in position to be the number 4 team in the CCIW if they're able to come back and defeat North Park on the road. Certainly the business end of the season, at this point, it's all about results. Not every win has to look like $1 million, but the Thunder would certainly like here playing on their home court against the underdogs. Would like to turn it up a notch here in the second half and put in a little bit cleaner of a performance than what we've seen so far.
Yeah, you want to be able to have all your players be fully healthy and fully rested going into the tournament, but also for Wheaton being able to have that home court advantage and hosting the CCIW tournament here in King Arena, just huge just for the environment, for the lack of travel that they would have to have, and just the energy that the fans present.
Yeah, these kind of opportunities don't come around every season. Certainly some incentive for the Thunder here. Askew with a good-looking step-back jumper, but can't get that one to drop. North Central missing a open 3 on their previous possession, so Wheaton catching a break there defensively, but can't turn it into points on the other end.
Chevelle's been playing some really good defense on Hellwig tonight, forcing him into a lot of tough shots, but also Hellwig seems like there's just a lid on the basket for him.
Hellwig, tough 3 there, good defense by Andrew Williams. He's the kind of player that shot clock does reset. We heard a beep, but that was accidental, and that's a big shot right there from Brian Johnson to tie the game up at 32. Just to finish that point, Hellwig is the kind of player that even on an off night, it just feels like he's one made shot away from just hitting that next level and taking over the game. Wheaton will certainly have to stick tight to him in the rest of this one.
Yeah, when you're a good scorer and you finally see one go through, a light bulb just goes off on your head and the switch gets flipped.
TJ Askew.
We're going to call that on the ground.
Yeah, looking for the and one, but did look like it was on the floor before he got the shot up.
I think the call will be called, foul's called right there when he's gathering. So close to on the way up, just not late enough for the foul to be called.
Yeah, Brian Johnson whistled for his first there on the floor. Thunder will inbound here at Chevello. Wheaton and North Central always seem to play close games. Not many blowouts in the series. Wheaton, as I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, edging the Cardinals by just 5 in Naperville 4 weeks ago. Here's Chevello in the paint, turnaround jumper. Can't get that one to fall.
Yeah, that's a hard shot, especially fading away to the right and being a lefty. It's just a hard angle to shoot it at.
Nick Chevello with just 2 points so far on the night, looking to generate some offensive momentum. Here's North Central with a chance to take their second lead on this possession. Here's There's Nick Smolt at the top of the key being marked closely by Williams. He'll go into the lane. Shot clock at 2. Smolt forces up a tough contested jumper. Andrew Williams really putting in a good defensive shift so far in this second half.
Yeah, that was great defense, and then be able to track the ball down and get that defensive rebound is huge as well.
And Dalton, to your point at the top of the start of the second half, you mentioned Wheaton wanting to go inside more, attack the interior. We have seen that, but not to great success. They have missed a few of these layups and jumpers from close range so far in the second half.
Yeah, but twice already on those drives we've seen 2 fouls as well. So they're even if they're not converting, they're still able to get a foul called and ensuring the team fouls up for the Cardinals.
That's a good point. Already 3 whistles against the Cardinals so far in this second half. We'll see how that develops as we go on. That make that 4. Cruikshank can't get the shot to go, but he will head to the free throw line for 2 shots.
Nice little Euro step for Tyson as he comes around, gets Brian Johnson to foul him on the body.
Yeah, it looks like the foul was called down low on the knees. Johnson's arms were straight up, didn't make a whole lot of contact, but Cruikshank won't care. He's going to the line for 2 shots.
The last game the Thunder played, Tyson was 1 rebound away from a triple-double on senior night. Andrew Williams kind of snuck in and grabbed the last rebound of the night. But tonight Tyson only has 12 points and then 2 rebounds and 1 assist, so not unlikely to see a triple-double tonight against the Cardinals.
Always feels like an option when a player of that caliber is on the floor. He goes 1 for 2 from the line. I believe that's Wheaton's only their 2nd miss from the free throw line. They've been excellent so far from the charity stripe.
Yeah, they're taking advantage of every look they get there.
Yeah, the 2 teams have shot 17 free throws and have only missed 2 of them. Both misses coming on Wheaton's end. Interesting given how poor the shooting performances felt from the floor tonight. They're not struggling from the free throw line.
If I was Wheaton, I'd give the ball to Askew right now. He has Mitch Lewis on him, who has 3 fouls, picked him up in about 2 minutes of play in the first half. If they can get him out of the game for basically all the second half, they could hopefully grow a bigger lead. It looks like they're going to play away from him.
North Central coach Figueroa trusting Lewis to come back into this one in a physical battle despite having 3 fouls. Here's Askew, pull-up jumper from the free throw line, leaves it short.
Yeah, that's a fine shot, though. He has a lot of height.
Nick Smolt with a corner 3,
Holy
and that is
cow.
packed all the way back to Naperville by TJ Askew. Well, if you're going to miss a shot on one end, that's the way to make up for it on the other one.
Yeah, miscommunication on who was going to be guarding Smolt, and then Askew just flew out there and rose up.
Smolt had a facial expression after that block that almost suggested, I knew you were going to block it, I just did it because I have to. Just looking to reset the ball off the inbounds pass situation. So another possession here for the Cardinals, under 10 on the shot clock. This is Ethan Hellwig backing in against Considine. Tough fadeaway jumper. Not much you can do about that.
That was some excellent offense there.
Ethan Hellwig putting some mustard on that one to give North Central a 1-point lead.
The way this half is going, it feels as though Wheaton has all the momentum, but they're down 1 right now.
Certainly a good response so far from the Cardinals. Danny Garza stepping up. He wanted the 3 from Considine. Instead gives it to Cruikshank, and that's usually a good thing to do. Yeah. Tyson with another 3-pointer.
Yeah, give Tyson the ball and kind of get out of the way right there.
Layup in the lane there for Wheaton players. Considine finally comes down with the rebound. Not great communication right there from the Thunder, but they get the ball after the miss. Wheaton with the chance to extend the lead. Considine with some room on the perimeter. Nate Sock back into the game. He was calling for it, but he'll give it back to Tyson at the top of the key. Thought about it, instead dishes it back to Considine for a perimeter 3. Doesn't drop, and it's foul underneath the hoop given against Couples, and that is his 4th.
Tyson able to snake his way into the paint and try to get an offensive rebound, but instead got pushed by Blumeyer, and Wheaton's now 2 fouls away from being in the bonus.
Foul trouble already here for the second half. Whistles have definitely gone Wheaton's way so far in terms of quantity. Just 1 team foul so far for the Thunder. 5 for North Central, as Dalton said, as Tyson goes back to work. Drives into the lane, tough layup. Look at the explosive speed right there from the point guard.
Yeah, he's so good to able to use his body to push his defender around the rim and then able to finish really kind of uncontested with his right hand there.
Players like him and Matt Hellwig are so fun to watch because they lure you in. You kind of have this false sense of security when you're matched up against them. The next thing you know, they're blowing right past you. And there's an and 1 opportunity on the other end for North Central. Mitch Lewis drawing the foul this time. he'll go to the free throw line, and that's a big response from the Cardinals.
Lewis did a good job on those bumps on Askew, kind of get him off balance and able to spin to the baseline and finish through the contact.
First foul on Askew for the game, so a little bit of a disadvantage there for the two men playing down low, with Mitch Lewis already occupying 3 fouls. We'll see if Askew tries to use that to his advantage. It'll feel good for Lewis to get one over Askew this time. And he drops in the free throw, making it a 2-point game. Now 1-point game, sorry. Scoreboard hasn't been updated yet. Jumping the gun there. 38-37, just about 8 minutes into this second half of play here in King Arena. Wheaton's penultimate home game of the regular season. Chiavello for 3, and that's a big one for Nick. Timeout Wheaton, 4-point lead for the Thunder.
A full timeout from the Thunder there after a huge 3 from Nick Chiavello. A needed 3 too, just kind of without hesitation. Mitch Lewis was kind of sagging off because he wants to give them space. He can't be pressing up too much or else he'll be close to committing his 4th foul. And Chiavello sensed that his hand was down. Hand down, man down is what they always say. And an easy look for Chiavello.
It's a big basket right there for the Thunder as they retake the 4-point lead. Carroll leading Elmhurst by 1 point in Waukesha right now. Just a couple of minutes behind us in the second half. Carthage on a 10-2 run to start the second half. They have taken the lead against North Park up in Kenosha. That's set to be a good one there.
All the CCIW teams are pretty streaky where they can have a bad first half and then just come out of nowhere in the second half. But that's also just the skill and the depth of this conference as a whole, with basically like you have seven teams that really are just solid every year, and then you have all 9 teams can win any given night too, as we've seen Milliken and Carroll just kind of sneak wins here and there, as Milliken stole one a couple weeks ago in Chicago against North Park.
Yeah, a really surprising result, but Milliken played probably their best game of the season.
Yes, 100%.
Not an easy environment to go into, as Wheaton learned the hard way a few weeks ago in Chicago. They won there, and they had Wheaton on the ropes for a while here on senior night. It wasn't until kind of the second half of the second half that Wheaton finally put the game to bed.
Yeah, Milliken played really well in that overtime win against North Park, and it's hard, especially as a team like that isn't super proven against really good teams like North Park, especially to win in overtime is huge.
North Central down 4, 12 minutes left to go in regulation here in Wheaton. See if the Cardinals can get a basket on this possession. Double covered underneath the hoop. That's great defense by Nate Sock to deny Mitch Lewis.
Yeah, Nate Sock, although he's not the biggest body mass-wise, he is the longest player on the Thunder as he pulls up from 3 here.
Defense
buries it.
Offense. Nate Sock from deep, and the student section is on its feet.
Stone cold too, just going back with no facial expression, no hypeness, but the bench will get hyped for him.
Yeah, he is a pretty expressionless player, as you said, but bringing the energy so far. That's 2 back-to-back clutch 3s from Wheaton's bigger players, Nate Sock and Nick Chiavello. Skilled from beyond the arc, even though that's not always what they're known for, but sometimes when the shots aren't falling for other guys, you might as well try your hand. Wheaton up by 7 now.
And that also has to be super encouraging for Coach Schauer and the coaching staff to see Nate Sock, who's going to be here next year with most of this starting lineup and the key players for the Thunder leaving. Seeing Nate Sock and Nick Chiavello really step up and be the key players, and Sock kind of coming into his own right now, showing some more confidence is definitely a huge key for next year if they want to be successful.
That's a good point. Both of those guys set to play important roles for the Thunder in the next season, you'd feel. There's an open 3. Nate Sock kind of missed his defensive assignment initially, did well to get the rebound. Now that's a loose ball scramble, and we will have a jump ball call.
Sock was everywhere on that possession. He was running back and forth between defenders. We're going to get another timeout, I think.
Wheaton was quick to call that, so they'll take possession after the jump ball. That was a heads-up play right there for the Thunder coming off that contested rebound. So 7-point lead, the ball, and finally a little bit of momentum for Wheaton. We'll see if they can start to pull away or if North Central has some answers up their sleeve. It's been a physical, low-scoring battle so far here in King Arena. Typical CCIW quality basketball, as Dalton said, in this deep league as Wheaton seeks to win their 12th conference game of the year. I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, this will be the 3rd straight season if you include the COVID-shortened season in which Wheaton has won 12 games against conference opponents. That is not easy in a division like the CCIW. Certainly would be a feather in the cap of head coach Mike Schauer and his coaching assistants if they can pull that off tonight. It's still 11-19 left to play, some work to do here on home court.
Easy break of the press for the Thunder out of that timeout.
Cruikshank draws a couple of defenders. Nate Sock, fake pass, can't get the three to fall. That would have been a smooth play right there. And the ball will fall out of bounds for North Central.
He was feeling it there. It was a heat check for Nate Sock.
He would have sent King Arena to the next decibel level if he had splashed that one in. Instead, North Central will bring it back down the court with a chance to cut into this Wheaton lead. Cardinals have gone cold from the floor in these last few minutes. We'll see if they can find a response here. This is Mitch Lewis going to work and draws the foul on Askew, his second.
Yeah, whenever Lewis drives, he's a lot stronger and bigger than Askew is, so he kind of Askew has to use his hands a little bit there, which isn't what you need to do.
Askew will check out of the game now to be replaced by Considine. Good inbounds pass underneath the hoop, but better reaction time right there from Chiavello just to box out Matt Hellwig before he could get a layup off. Here's Lewis against Considine. Lewis will pull up for the jumper, doesn't drop it in, and it will be the Thunder ball coming out of bounds.
We're seeing more pressing from the Cardinals. They're going to try to create some more chaos for the Thunder, but they broke it pretty easily in the last time they pressed. No one's really at the center of the court, so they can work the ball around. You have to break the press by passing it around, but it was pretty easy there to just dribble it up.
It's a logical time to bust out the press. Down 7 on the road. Here's Chiavello wide open. Bang!
Wheaton's now 4 of 5 from deep this half. They're shooting really well from outside the arc, and all of the looks are basically wide open. And we're going to get a timeout here from the Cardinals, but that's what I was saying earlier in the game is if you can get downhill early, which is what they were doing, driving to the hoop, these threes are going to be a lot more open around the perimeter, and that's what we've seen in the second half.
And that's the quality of a team like Wheaton, top 10 in the nation. Bit of a sluggish performance, certainly not the offensive showing that they would have liked in the first half, but suddenly you blink and it's a double-digit lead here on home floor. Wheaton's got to be feeling it good about the way that this game is trending, but still 10 minutes left for the Cardinals to come up with a response.
Yeah, that's the difference between the good teams and then the ranked teams is how can you adjust in halftime after a poor first half, and what adjustments can you make on the floor during the game too to give the team a lift, to provide some more scoring, to just kind of figure out where you're going to win the game. So that's really shown this second half by the Thunder making the right adjustments and already having 20 points in this second half, and we're just over halfway into this game.
Tyson Cruikshank, unsurprisingly, well, I say unsurprisingly, this is actually the one game where it is a little bit of a surprise because Matt Hellwig is ahead of him in this conference scoring charts. Tyson is leading all players with 17 points. He's certainly caught fire a little bit as the game is worn on. Andrew Williams leading all players with 10 rebounds. We'll see if he can get a double-double to his name tonight.
He had 10 rebounds pretty early on the first half. He's always around the board.
Yeah, especially on the defensive end, coming up with a number of important grabs to keep possession from the Thunder. Matt Hellwig with just 4 points so far for the Cardinals. You got to imagine that he's going to play a role in any potential comeback that North Central may try to mount here down the stretch. We'll see if he can catch fire a little bit from the floor.
And the Wheaton defenders are just so good. Chiavello's not able to get his hand in that passing in there, but they're so versatile too. We got like Nate Sock, Eli Considine, Nick Chiavello, who are all very similar body types where they can just guard really any player 1 through 5.
Always a good feeling forcing a turnover coming out of timeout. Chiavello again, and a heat check now for Chiavello this time, trying to knock down his 3rd straight shot from beyond the arc.
It looked like it was going to be in and then just kind of popped out.
And there's Matt Hellwig trying to come up with a quick response. That one rims out. Just has not been his night from the floor. Another important defensive rebound for the Thunder. Wheaton's got to be really pleased holding a team like this under 40 points at this point in the game. Final 10 minutes of the game. Thunder moving the ball around the perimeter now. Cruikshank drawing 2 defenders. Chiavello again open at the top of the key. Decides to drive inside this time and gets the foul drawn.
Yeah, hard closeout by Blumeyer there, and just with a pump fake able to kind of get him a little off balance. Chiavello used the pump fake. And just Blumeyer kind of putting his hands in the arms of Chiavello, an easy call for the ref to make.
It's 3rd on Blumeyer. He'll check out of the game along with Mitch Lewis, who also has 3 fouls. One more team foul on North Central will put the Thunder on the line for the 1-on-1 bonus. Here's Cruikshank. 3-pointer, gets it right in front of the Thunder bench. Another big shot from Wheaton star guard.
Everyone is getting into the action of making threes this second half.
Death, taxes, and 20-point games from Tyson Cruikshank. 3 right there from Nick Smolt. Big response right there for the Cardinals. They needed that one.
Yeah, they needed that one big time. This game was going to get out of hand if they didn't score here and Wheaton scored on the next possession.
Nice round, 50-40 scoreline here heading into the final 8 minutes in Wheaton, Illinois. Askew with the ball outside the perimeter. Back to Chiavello, who has played a starring role so far in this second half. Cruikshank thought about the step back 3, buys some time, hands it off to Chiavello. Cruikshank with the long 3, no way, I was going to say. Even for a player like that, that is a tough shot.
Especially at the end of a shot clock trying to force it up.
Yeah, Matt Helwig with a tough drive. Good defense right there from Chiavello, although North Central wanted a foul underneath the hoop.
Oh, swing it around. Chiavello's open. No, not anymore.
Considine, haven't called his name a whole lot in the second half. We'll see if he can get his name back on the score sheet. Here's TJ Askew, mismatch size-wise going against Nick Smolt here, and sure enough, Askew draws the foul.
Yeah, that's a hard matchup for Smolt right there, guarding a bigger and taller TJ Askew. Able to kind of poke it loose right there, but on the second attempt to back it down, reaching around and just kind of grabbing Askew, and he'll head to the line for 1-and-1.
Yeah, foul was called on the floor, but as Dalton said, it's the 7th foul on North Central, so Askew will go to the line for at least 1 free throw here. Drops it in the first one. Wheaton 13 of 15 so far from the free throw line. North Central 4 of 4. Red hot shooting from the charity stripe, just not from open play so far tonight.
Yeah, Askew's getting all of his points the hard way, going to the line and having to make those.
So similar to the Milliken game, it's taken a while, but Wheaton finally has some breathing room, up by 12 here with 7.5 minutes left to play. North Central's just a couple baskets for making this interesting, and there's one from Matt Helwig. Trademark jumper right there from North Central's star player.
He loves the mid-range jumper, especially fading away. It's usually he's trying to back down his defender and then fade away there, but he comes off of an off-ball screen and pulls up from the top of the key.
Here's Askew outside, kicks it out to Considine, corner 3. Eli loves that shot, and he drops it home this time.
And 3s are worth more than 2, so if North Central keeps making 2s and Wheaton keeps making 3s, then it's going to be a 1-point Wheaton's way every time.
North Central shooting just 4 of 17 from beyond the arc tonight. Not the kind of percentage that you need in a game like this. Thunder up by 13. We'll see if the Cardinals go for a 3 on this trip. They sure do. Matt Helwig with the step back over Andrew Williams, doesn't get it to drop, and a big boy rebound from TJ Askew.
Everyone in the gym knew that Matt Helwig wanted to take that shot, and just great defense by Andrew Williams there to force him into a step back 3. Highly contested too.
Both teams atop the conference standings, creating some separation as North Park is back up by 8 against Carthage and Kenosha. Another foul on the floor here against North Central. That was on Shea Couples, and if my notes are correct, that means he is fouled out of the game. And he will check out to be replaced by John Blumeyer.
I think they only have him for 4 right now. Him and Blumeyer both have 4.
I think you're right.
So 3 guys in significant foul trouble for the Cardinals.
Nick Smolt will come out as well here for North Central to be replaced by Erikas Gurskas. Cruikshank looking to go 2 for 2 from the line, and he does. 15-point lead now for the Thunder.
And 22 on the night for Tyson with 6 minutes left to go.
The reigning CCIW Men's Basketball Player of the Week, the reigning D3Hoops.com Team of the Week honoree. You're kind of running out of superlatives for a player of Cruikshank's quality at this point in the season.
At the end of the year, you hope he gets that All-American nod too.
And that's a good turnaround jumper right there from Mitch Lewis to provide a little bit of a response there for North Central. And if it's possible, it almost feels like a quiet 22 for Tyson Cruikshank.
Oh, for sure.
Especially from the first half. He really didn't call his name very much, but certainly the second half he's come up with some big baskets for the Thunder. No surprise to see him leading the scoring charts once again as he kicks it out here to Chiavello. Shot clock winding down. 5 to shoot. Cruikshank will pull up for 3.
Good
Make it
miss.
a loud 25 for Tyson.
Yeah.
You heard me over here.
He said quiet 22. I'll give you a screaming 25 right there.
We're so used to seeing him bury it from that kind of position on the court. And they will call a block despite Eskew spilling on the deck there. Tough foul. He's looking for an explanation.
And there's my roommate Jack Reichen on the mop tonight. Give a shout out to my housemate as he's doing a good job there.
Keeping things clean for the players here in King Arena. Mitch Lewis heads to the line for 2 shots. And just like that, Askew's up to 3 fouls. Mitch Lewis has kind of been winning the physical battle between the two of them here in the second half, although he misses this free throw.
And with Matt Helwig kind of struggling from the field tonight, he shot the ball 17 times and has only made 3 field goals. So who's going to step up and try to will the Cardinals back into this game? Mitch Lewis is doing the best with team-high 11 points.
Yeah, we talked about this with Lewis's foul trouble in the first half, and now with Helwig's shooting performance, it just makes it that much harder to win as the underdog, especially when you're on the road, when your star player, leading scorer, is having an off night points-wise. We'll see if he can kind of turn it around, salvage his performance here in the last 5 minutes. As Tyson Cruikshank goes to line and blows past his defender for another easy layup.
It's Tyson's world, and we're just living in it right now. 27 on the night, and most likely after tonight, the way scoring's going, Tyson should be the leading scorer in the CCIW since he's only about a point behind Matt Helwig.
That's a good point. He may overtake his average, and he's overtaking some players on the Wheaton all-time scoring list, too. He moved to the 10th following the senior night win over Milliken, as we see a shooting foul against the Thunder here. That was John Blumeyer open in the lane and got the contact on Cruikshank from behind. He'll head to the line for 2 shots.
And on top of that, Tyson's just been shooting so efficiently, too. He's 8 of 11 from the field, 4 of 7 from deep, and 7 of 8 from the line.
He seemed a little hesitant to get those shots up in the first half.
Yeah.
He was looking for his teammates and wasn't pulling the trigger very often, but once those first couple of shots dropped, he certainly found his groove as he steps over to have a word with Coach Schauer, and Blumeyer looks to convert his second free throw.
If I was Coach Schauer, I would just say, hey, just keep doing what you're doing. Make some more shots and just have your way. And we're going to get a timeout here for the Cardinals.
Yeah, tactical timeout here to try to stall the Thunder's momentum a little bit, try to set up a defensive scheme coming out of this huddle. 15-point lead for Wheaton with 4.5 minutes left to play.
I think their main defensive scheme needs to be, don't let Tyson score again.
It's generally a good way to approach things. If Cruikshank's unable to get the points on the board, it's unclear who will step up for him on Wheaton's side. He's kind of been the focal point of their offense in these last few possessions, but now the Thunder do have some breathing room. Good game up in Kenosha. North Park up by 3 with just under 10 minutes left to go there. Thunder women's team losing by 3, 43-40, heading into the 4th quarter in Chicago against North Park. And Elmhurst with a 2-point lead over Carroll on the men's side up in Waukesha. Their game's right about the same point as we are. Make that a 5-point lead as Wesley Hooker just splashed in a 3 for the Blue Jays.
Elmhurst has been kind of on and off this year after being the national runner-up last year in the Division III national tournament. They've kind of just been a little streaky, but always a threat, especially as Wheaton had seen here in King Arena, losing in overtime to the Blue Jays. But they're definitely not a team to be messed with as this CCIW tournament's approaching.
Yeah, they actually are the informed team in the CCIW, coming into tonight with, I believe, a 4 or 5 game win streak. They're certainly playing their best basketball of the season right now. And that certainly will be a tough road game, regardless of whether or not, it actually affects the conference standings by the time next Saturday rolls around. That's going to be a very interesting matchup for Wheaton to go on the road to Elmhurst, having dropped the close decision here in King Arena, the Blue Jays.
Yeah, and that's what the Blue Jays did last year, too. They were kind of off to a slow start and then got hot at the right time, and then they were hot in March and made their way all the way to the national championship. So it's the right time of the year to get hot, obviously.
Yeah, they knocked the Thunder off in the CCIW tournament semifinals and then upset Illinois Wesleyan on their home floor in the tournament championship. Or no, sorry, I think it was actually North Central.
They beat North Central.
Yeah,
North Central upset Illinois Wesleyan.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting to see neither the Thunder or the Titans involved in the tournament championship game last year.
It was a really fun tournament, too. There's a lot of cool game. Oh, my gosh. He's unconscious right now. 30 points for Tyson Cruikshank.
I think one of the highest compliments you can pay an athlete is that they make the difficult things look easy, and Tyson Cruikshank is that kind of player. Matt Helwig trying to answer. That's a big three right there for North Central's leading scorer. Still a 15-point lead, but finally a big shot drops for the Cardinals. Wheaton coming into this one with the top scoring defense in the CCIW, holding opponents to just 65 points a game. And they have 65 now. North Central with just 50. Cardinals can't be pleased with their offensive performance tonight, but a lot of that credit goes to the Thunder for some solid defensive play.
Yeah, forcing them into a lot of tough looks, putting a lot of pressure on the ball and on the cutters that are trying to get open for backdoor looks. Thunder are playing good defense, and I mean, I say it all the time, but this Thunder team really is great at able to like dig their heels in and play some really solid defense and force the opposing team into tough shots. And that's how you win games, is you make them take tough shots, and then you make the tough shots too, and turn those bad shots from the other team into good shots for yourself.
That's the sign of a good team that knows they need to win when they've had a pretty quiet performance in the first half from the Thunder's perspective, but they've really flipped a switch here in the second. They found a way to build this lead despite not having their cleanest performance of the season so far. They now have a comfortable 15-point cushion, but there's enough time left that they need to keep their heads and just kind of see this game out. A couple baskets from North Central. We could be in for a different conversation. Tyson
Oh my goodness.
trying to ensure that we don't have that conversation. They get 33 on the night for Wheaton's guard.
And you would think that's a season high for him, but no. He went to Carthage and put up 35 a couple weeks ago. Matt Helwig answering again.
And this is becoming the one-on-one battle that we expected for most of the game, with these two players taking the center limelight here, coming up with the big baskets for both their teams.
I'll give it to Tyson. Please shoot it. Oh.
I don't know if he's aware of how many points he has. He's got to know that he's approaching his career high level. Yeah, him and Matt Helwig, just fun players to watch, and they're chucking up these long-range shots. Everything's dropping at the moment. Andrew Williams with the ball, and a little turnover there. Misconnection with Eli Considine, and North Central will get the ball back.
And with a 15-point lead and 2.5 minutes left, it's now all about just making the right decision on the offensive side and just being patient and not trying to rush yourself.
Yeah, game management is the name of the game right now for the Thunder. Tough layup right there for Mitch Lewis, doesn't fall. And a big rebound for Wheaton. As you said, winding down the shot clock is kind of the most important thing at this time. Points are great, but when you got a 15-point lead with 2 minutes left, clock is on your side. Cruikshank just 2 away from tying his career high. We'll see if he goes for it on this possession. He has to, because the shot clock's winding down, and that's a nice hand right there from Mitch Lewis. Wasn't technically a steal, but it does force the shot clock violation.
A good defense there by the Cardinals, and great hand there by Mitch Lewis, as you said, Gabriel. So with 2 minutes left to go, 15-point lead. We're going to get another timeout.
And anyone who was hoping to tune into a one-possession shootout, we apologize, because we did not get that game tonight, but Carroll Elmhurst and North Park Carthage sure did. Both teams tied in the final minutes of that one. Carthage North Park, I believe they tipped off at the same time, but they were quite a few minutes behind us. Still 7 minutes left in that one. Elmhurst and Carroll 2.5 minutes left, tied at 60. And that game's significant, Dalton, because as we were talking about off air, Elmhurst and Carthage right now are tied for that number 3 seed, and Wheaton, should they finish tied with North Park, the first tiebreaker is how did you do against the team that finishes 3rd. Wheaton could use Carthage finishing 3rd because they are guaranteed to have, they already swept the Firebirds this season. They're guaranteed to have the nod over North Park in that situation, whereas if Elmhurst finishes 3rd and sweeps Wheaton, we could be having a different conversation. So the stakes are high at this point in the season, lots of storylines as the CCIW enters its home stretch.
Yeah, now for those teams who aren't kind of in the battle for the first seed, it's all about where can you be and what matchups do you want to have. And especially for the Blue Jays, they want to be 3rd so that they can kind of have an easier first round of the tournament than otherwise.
Yeah, Dalton, I think you have the CCIW standings pulled up. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, so Carthage, they would just be 1 game behind North Park if they can pull out that win in Kenosha, and they will have the head-to-head advantage over the Vikings. So that could be an interesting storyline. Yeah. If Carthage is able to pull out the win, they are knotted up in Kenosha right now. We'll keep our eye on the turnout of that one as North Central tries to mount a furious late comeback. Under 2 minutes left to play here in King Arena. Cardinals thought about the 3 in the corner there. Ethan Hellwig decides to pass it up, draws the attention of 2 defenders. Tries to feed it inside, but Cruikshank gets the steal, and Coach Schauer is pleased with that. That is Wheaton basketball right there, turning defense into offense. Andrew Williams with the fast break layup.
And Coach Schauer has to be so pleased with how the Thunder are turning this game around and just closing it out too, just very strongly, as Hellwig just kind of gets a consolation point there.
Not a whole lot of trademark emotion on Coach Schauer's face so far tonight.
Good timeout there by Andrew Williams. So he got trapped at half court. Really didn't have anything. Smart enough to call that timeout, knowing the Thunder have it, before he was pushed over for a travel or just getting a 5-second call on him.
Yeah, heads up play there from the senior guard. As I was saying, Coach Schauer seems to have, he's taken a more quiet, stoic approach tonight from perhaps what we're used to seeing. He's been sitting down a lot instead of his usual pacing, animated style, but you could tell that last possession really gave him something to cheer about. That was good basketball from the Thunder. And they now can look towards wrapping up their 12th conference win of the season. They'll move to 12-2, assuming they are able to see this one out, which is always an impressive mark in a conference as deep as the CCIW. North Central would fall to 11-11 on the year, 6-8 in CCIW play.
And being 6-8, that brings Augustana into the conversation to try to sneak their way into the tournament. So North Central most likely dropping one here tonight against the Thunder. They need to find a way to win out the rest of the year to try to get into the tournament and have a chance to make some noise as they did last year, getting to the finals.
Yeah, no games left to spare, regardless of what team you are in the conference right now. You got to win at all costs at this point in the season. Wheaton women's team tied 47-47 with North Park. 3 minutes left to play in Chicago. Another good game. It's a good Wednesday night of CCIW basketball. You've picked the right conference to tune into.
Yeah, this is the time of the year when everything gets super interesting. It's really fun.
Cruikshank kicks it out to Chiavello. Open corner 3, leaves it short. And a rebound there for John Blumeyer. Here's Matt Hellwig getting out in transition. Waits, draws the contact, and draws the foul.
You see this there, that Askew kind of slid over a little too late and let Hellwig get all the way to the block. And throw up the
foul tonight on Askew. All of those fouls coming in the second half, but good news is there's so little time left that it's not of much significance at this point in the contest.
And now most of these points are just consolation prizes.
Matt Hellwig has done well to work himself into double digits in scoring down the stretch here. That free throw is his 15th point of the night to lead the Cardinals. Andrew Williams 2 points short of a double-double. We'll see if the Thunder can feed him the ball here on their last couple of possessions to try to get him to that mark. I'm not sure the team is aware of that right now, though.
Yeah, your choices are either get Andrew Williams a double-double or have Tyson try to break his career high. So we'll see what they do here in this most likely last possession. It's a good thing the team is making that choice and not the two of us.
Yeah. We'll let it be their call. North Central still engaging in the full court press. Certainly no lack of energy here from the Cardinals tonight. It's been a spirited performance, and they do well to force the steal right there with Nick Smolk taking it away.
Yeah, the press showing that it's pretty effective in these last couple minutes.
John Blumeyer will pull up for the long 3. Banks it in. That was, excuse me, not even banks it, squishes it home. Tyson Cruikshank was coming over his right shoulder. That was a tough shot, dropped it in. Cut the lead down to 10. And Williams will call another timeout.
Tyson's just saying, hey, slow it down a little bit. You got 10 seconds to get over the line. You don't need to dribble yourself into a trap at the corner.
So we would be witnessing something historic if North Central is able to make up this 10-point deficit in the final 23 seconds. But you got to give the Cardinals credit. Never say die attitude there, hanging around and giving it their all here in the final minutes.
I know they needed this press to be as effective as it is now if it was earlier, but now we see, Gabriel, as you're checking out the score of the Carthage North Park game, what do you see there?
Firebirds up by 5 with just under 5 left to play. It's hard not to keep our eye on that one, with it one being a few minutes behind this one, given the significance for both these teams, Wheaton especially, and as we talked about with Carthage and Elmhurst battling it out currently for that 3 seed. But as I mentioned a minute ago, Carthage could be thinking a little higher than number 3 if they win this one. Just one game behind North Park with the head-to-head advantage if they're able to close that one out. Outscoring the Vikings by 12 points in the second half, having been down by 7 at halftime.
And being able to get that second place finish gives you that bye and just a little more rest and time for your team to prepare for the next game. But that rest does come with the sacrifice of not being in a good rhythm, as like you haven't played for a while. So comes, the cost-benefit analysis of that. Oh.
See a travel here on Crookshank, just shuffled his feet as he was collecting the ball on the inbounds pass. That's a nice turnover for North Central to force coming out of the timeout. And you never know, a quick three here within the next few seconds could set up a bit of a nervy finish here.
It'll make me seem like a bad person after what I said earlier about this looking like Wheaton wrapped it up here.
I think that's what everyone was expecting, but North Central has certainly not gone quietly into the good night. We have a foul before the shot here on the floor. It looked like it was maybe Considine getting charged, or no, maybe Chevello getting charged with that one. Considine was looking at the ref with a bemused look on his face. I think he thought he was being called for it, but it does go to Chevello's foul, and Blumeyer will be on the line for 2 shots.
Blumeyer gets that first one to go, gets him into double figures for tonight. 10 points, 8 rebounds.
North Central came into this one, as I mentioned earlier, as the best shooting percentage team in the conference. No, excuse me, second in the conference in team field goal percentage, shooting 46.3 from the field. They're shooting 35.5 tonight. They have come up against the best defensive team in the CCIW, and Wheaton has, for the most part, stifled the North Central offense. And that last foul will do it as Crookshank draws the foul. 5 seconds left. 70-62 for the Thunder, and they can finally breathe a sigh of relief, having wrapped up their 12th conference win of the season.
And doing it with a big second half, 43 points and counting. We'll see if Chevello can add to that total this second half.
Yeah, we talked about at halftime what kind of offensive adjustments we'd see coming out of the locker room for the Thunder if those shots would finally start falling, and boy did they. And more so for Tyson Crookshank than any other player, it has to be said. He definitely put the team on his back for a stretch there in the second half to help Wheaton close out this win. But a good team performance on the whole as Chevello drops in the first free throw.
Yeah, Tyson definitely put the team on his back, and in a big way too, having 33 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, and a steal, and 1 block to go along with that.
Carroll pulling the upset over Elmhurst in Waukesha. Only their 2nd conference win of the year. They edged the Blue Jays by 1 point, which has major ramifications on the conference table. The final shot is no good from North Central, and your final score here from King Arena: Wheaton 72, North Central 62. The Thunder improved to 20-3 on the year. They pick up the 20th win of the season, 12-2 in conference play. North Central falls to 11-11 and 6-8 in CCIW action. The Thunder continuing their stranglehold on first place in the CCIW standings. We'll keep our eye on the last few minutes of the game up in Kenosha, see if the Firebirds can edge out North Park and further boost the Thunder's chances. Wheaton is off this coming weekend. They have a bye week. Then they'll return to King Arena next Wednesday to play their final home game of the regular season against the Carroll Pioneers. We will toss it down to Dalton in just 1 second to get the post-game thoughts of head coach Mike Schauer as the team circles up at midcourt.
I'm on the floor here with Coach.
Well, first, we've got to figure out why we can't make a shot on that end. We need to practice more on that end. The last 2 games at home, we just have made nothing down there and scored down here. Yeah, I mean, I've been saying it almost from day one. And I said it almost the very first game we played. If there are 10 guards better in the country than the one I have, it's the best crop of guards in the history of Division III. And I said that at the time, and I'm going to say it now. I'm not sure there are 4 guards better in the country, better than the one I have. He put on a show tonight. But he's been doing that. I mean, he can close. And he's so difficult to switch to. A lot of teams switch, and he's just tough in that situation because he makes those step backs, and yet he's so good at getting to the rim. You know, he hasn't been like this every night, but this isn't the first time we've seen it. So proud of our team. Hey, listen, we got a little time off here, and no matter what else happened tonight, we're playing for a share of the conference championship on Wednesday night in this building. So let's get some people here.
Thank you, Coach Schauer. You heard that here. Wheaton with a big win, 72-62 over the visiting North Central Cardinals. They moved to 12-2 in the conference. Next week here in King Arena, they'll play Carroll University and then finish up the season the following Saturday against Elmhurst University. For Gabriel Woodwis and WTSN Sports, I'm Dalton Van Esselstyn. Have a good night.